Ladies and gentlemen, this is a diversity map that came out from the US Census. And it's showing you from 2010 to what it looks like now since the last census. As you can see, the country is definitely becoming more diverse. In the dark green, where you have a majority of non white people, and then the one that's a few shades lighter. Um, you can see, and it'll tell you 65% or more is the dark green. And then a shade up from that is 55 to 64.9%, where the population is non white. So we're going to get into this story. We know any numbers they give us is skewed. One thing they're not big on is giving you real numbers. More US counties where it's no longer a white majority. Some booming suburbs, and many of them in the Sun Belt, are becoming as racially diverse as major coastal cities, and often with less racial conflict. So they're saying the more that these counties become non white, the less problems they are having. Hey, that's what the article says. So, anyway, 69 counties, mostly in the South and West, had clear racial majorities in 2010. So, in 2010, some of these places were still majority white, but lost them by last year, according to a state line analysis of census estimates. Nationwide, there are now 152 such counties where white people are no longer the majority. And that is more than half of the population, up 33% since 2010. Most of the new counties, where it's more of a diversity in the county, are in the states of Georgia, New Mexico, North Carolina, Texas, and Virginia. So they have a much more diverse population and counties than they did back in 2010. The counties include many Black residents who have returned to the South, reversing the Great Migration of the 20th century, as well as Hispanic and Asian residents. Um, like many white movers, have headed south and west in search of new economic opportunities and more affordable homes. Let's face it, many of these folks are going to follow us, ladies and gentlemen, because they've been literally eating off of us. So they're going to keep up with the population they have gained economically from, because we know when immigrants come to this country, they encourage them to come to the Black community to make their money. So if the population is heading south, these folks are going to head south too. They're following the money. So many of the newly diverse suburbs have less racial tension. So they're saying the more diverse, where there are non-white people living there, the less racial tension in those counties. And I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly. That actually makes sense because there is less economic inequality. Most residents, no matter their race or ethnicity or college educated home buyers, that can create harmony, at least on the surface. Historically, white flight from cities to suburbs meant that urban communities that had become more diverse didn't stay that way for long, said Barrett Lee, an urban sociologist at Penn State University. A study of non white communities in 2016 once were white majority ended in such places. Black or Hispanic majority quickly ensued. But lately, many suburbs have become more racially diverse in a pattern that might be more durable, Lee said. Whites were always the ones more opposed to sharing space in neighborhoods, but there's been little, change when it comes down to that. In other words, they don't want to be diverse. They want to be in a community where everybody looks like them, and that's fine. In many communities that have recently lost racial majorities, the sentiment has always been pro diversity, wanting to promote that and sustain it. Ideally, would continue, but that's not the reality in some places. Be sure, even diverse suburban areas are not immune from racial issues and conflicts. We definitely know that. In 2018, Civil Rights Probe, for example, found Black students were disproportionately disciplined in Fort Bend County, and that's in Texas. A pattern found throughout the state. And this is according to County Judge KP George. The county top elected official complaint this year of the hateful emails that mentioned his South Asian heritage. Uh-huh. So he's getting hateful emails. Uh-huh. So, and in the same county, a physician, Suleiman Lalani, faced attacks on his Muslim heritage during his campaign this fall for a House seat. So he's in the state house. He won anyway, so did his fellow Pakistani immigrant from Tarrant County, which includes Fort Worth, in a county where they are saying the diversity of the county is switching more than 30%. They have gained more non white people, 30% more. A common thread: we have all felt the sting of racism and exclusion, Lalani said. So they said there's also a coalition of African Americans, Caucasians, and Latino supporters who show support at the poll locations. A complete and furious rejection of hate. Racial tension may be lessened in places such as Fort Bend because residents of all races have similar incomes and suburban lifestyles, according to a 2021 paper. The county median household income is 100,000. So they're saying that they have in Fort Bend Mexican immigrants. And it is also saying that, the population there is turning less white in that area of Fort Bend. All right. So an African American woman said it was hard to fill out the place. She recounted dinner invitations from Muslims and Chinese neighbors. All right. So now they're talking about Queens, New York, a long established but similar diverse area where the extreme of the wealth and poverty are more glaring. People they interviewed in New York City, the borough, consistently mention racial strife and resentment, they said. Many people look at Fort Bend and call it progress because they have a more diverse. population. On the surface, it appears to be more racially um, diverse than other communities, but can people even access these communities? So, yeah, well, apparently people living there got the resources they need. It's not like some of the more depressed communities where you don't even have a supermarket in the area. It's nothing like that. So, other factors are drawing people to these newly diverse areas, including economic opportunity and encouragement from early migrants who paved the way for others, experts said. In Texas, there are 15 of the nation's um, where counties are no longer white majority are located. Political change has already been evident in a limited way. Fort Bend County voted for a Republican presidential candidate in every election between 1968 and 2012, but it swung to the Democrats in 2016 and 2020. Tarrant County favored the GOP presidential candidate from 1968 to 2016, but joined the Democratic County column in 2020. Other large, but other suburban, non white counties also have turned Democratic in presidential votes. Orange County, south of Los Angeles, and Georgia's Gwinnett County in a suburban Atlanta are examples. Orange County voted Republican for president from 1940 to 2012 before voting Democratic in 2016 and 2020. Gwinnett County did the same after voting Republican from 1980 to 2012. Diversity doesn't always lead to harmony, as this falls controversial over leaked racial remarks in they're talking about the Los Angeles City Council members, and we know all about them, you know, where you had all these brown politicians plotting against the Black community there. Yeah. So it's just saying that the Hispanic residents in Los Angeles County are 49% of the population. And that is as of 2021, an increase from 48% in 2010. After Queens and Fort Bend counties, least dominated by one race are Gwinnett County, 33% white. Broward County, Florida, includes Fort Lauderdale, which is 34% white. Solano County, California, near Sacramento, 35% white. Among the counties that have lost racial majorities in 2010, Tarrant County in Texas has experienced one of the most dramatic changes. Black, Hispanic, and Asian populations all have grown in Tarrant County, while the white population share has declined from 52% to 44%. President Joe Biden won the 2020 vote narrowly there. The first Democrat to do so was Lyndon Johnson in 1964. Through the county also voted last month to reelect a Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Other counties have experienced shifts, okay, including Brazoria and Bell County in Texas, near Houston and Waco. Relatively, the Sutter County in California near Sacramento. In all three, the white population share fell from a majority to about 43% as Black, Hispanic, and Asian populations grew. all three counties voted for then President Donald Trump in 2020. Okay. So the fastest growing minority still punch below the weight politically. So, furthermore, some Asian, Hispanic, and other immigrants are included in the census, even though they are not citizens with voting rights. Counties in Texas that lost racial majority reflects a relative decline in the aging white majority population and a more Hispanic and Asian people moving in. And see, that's the big reason why you're seeing all these shifts. Remember, the biggest population among the white community are the baby boomers. These are the people that are elderly. So, as they start dying out, the counties that they're in are becoming more diverse. All right. So, most of Texas and Georgia counties have lost racial majorities since 2010. All right, so let me go down to the smaller counties that have become more diverse. So, a smaller number of counties are moving the other way. They have gained racial majority since 2010. So, this is San Bernardino, Riverside counties east of LA, and also Albuquerque, all now majority Hispanic. New, majority Black counties are Richland County, South Carolina, home state capital, Columbia, and Charles County, and Maryland, near Washington, D.C. Okay, so those counties are majority Black. Okay, one reason more counties are losing racial majorities is continued push of Hispanic immigrants into rural areas where their labor is desperately needed as white residents age out of the workforce. Several small Nebraska counties with meat packing plants, for example, has drawn more Hispanic residents over the past decade. White and Hispanic populations are nearly equal in Colfax County, west of Omaha, where Cargill beef processing plant is located, and it has the largest number of employees there. And they said back in 2010, in that same county, white population was the majority at 58%, but they're now down to 47%. All right. So there are a similar change in Dakota County, Nebraska, where Tyson Foods operates a beef processing plant. The white population shared a decline from 55% in 2010 to 44% in 2021, as the Hispanic population increased from 35% to 40%. In Colfax County, Latinos elected to the local school board. Okay, so there's more on the local school board. All right. And of course, more children, more Latino children and parents in Colfax County. Nebraska counties are typical of rural areas where immigration may starve off population decline of older white residents as they die or leave. Well, I mean, we all knew this population shift was going to happen. And when you look at the map, it's becoming more evident. In rural areas, white depopulation is mostly responsible, not the influx of new immigrant minorities. Well, if nothing else is interesting, when you look at the map, you can definitely see the country is changing. When you look at the lightest, most pale green on the map, those are the locations that are less diverse. And it's not that many states anymore. As you can see, when you look at the map, most of the country is becoming very diverse. And this is just 2020. So you can't tell me the majority of the country won't be white anymore in the next 10 years. Look at where it is now. Look at how much it's changing. So, y'all gonna have to tell me what you think about this video. I mean, I knew it was gonna change. It's inevitable. How is it not gonna change? But it's rapid. I mean, these folks are talking what? 2040? Oh no, it's gonna flip long before 2040. It's gonna be long before that. I think it's gonna be by the time the next census hit. I really do. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.